Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Kinera iDun 2.0 Golden, and these are my Honest Audiophile impressions. I want to thank HifiGo for providing the iDun Golden for review. Do greatly appreciate it. HifiGo, you rock. Alright, so the Golden. This is available on HifiGo for $170. It has 32 ohms of impedance, 112 decibels of sensitivity, a frequency response of 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. It uses a triple driver hybrid configuration. It has two Knowles BAs, one for the treble, one for the mids, and then it has a 7mm titanium plated dome PU dynamic driver for the bass. It uses dual acoustic tubes, and it has three-way frequency crossover. Comes in a very standard Kinera unboxing. On the backside you get some information here, and it has a little statement on the front that says, "A fruit of youth is always prepared. You want some of this?" Sure, why not? Alright, so very standard unboxing. Open up the lid, you get a few accessories inside, which include a carrying case which has some Kinera logo branding on it, and then it says, "Make it clear, make it real." Pretty standard carrying case here. You just open it up, you got a little pocket for your accessories to go in. You're going to get three different types of tips. You're going to get these tannish colored ones, which are kind of the same color as the carrying case, and they're kind of short and wide bore. And then you're going to get that back in the bag there. And then you're going to get the more standard olive shape, which are color coded for size. And they, as I said, are more olive shaped and not quite as wide bored. And those are the ones that I actually used. And then you're going to get some foam tips. On all of the silicones, you do get a small, medium, and large. On the foams, you just get small and what seems to be a larger size. I'm not sure if it's medium or large, but you only get two pairs of foams. I found that on the tips were definitely offering a different presentation. With the wide bore ones, it got a whole lot more of a sizzle to the sound, and it had too much hotness and brightness, and so the treble was just a little too aggressive and a little too much for my ears to handle, and it wasn't quite my preference. The olive shaped ones fit a little bit better and also tamed down that little bit of sizzle that was a little too intense for my ears. Then you get your IEMs, and we'll talk about the other accessories here in a moment. So you get this nice cable, but I do have a couple of frustrations with it. Number one, very aggressive ear hook, extremely aggressive ear hooks. And then it has metal connectors for your 2-pin. And that just kind of hit me wrong in the spot right here in the front of the ear. Just put pressure on it. And because that ear hook is so powerful and strong, it just kind of pressed it right against my ears and made it for a little uncomfortable comfort with the cable. Other than that, it's a very nice cable, nice, soft, very well controlled, nice and light. The end terminates to a mini XLR, and Kinera is kind enough to offer some other accessories that go along with it. So you get a 1/4-inch adapter, and then you get two connectors for your headphone, or excuse me, earphone, and they terminate into the XLRs, and you get 3.5 and 4.4, and it's just a very simple system that you just line up your 4 pins and connect them together, and boom, there you go. 4.4, or if you want to swap it out and you need 3.5 because you're using a single-ended source, you just line up and boom, there you go. You have your 3.5. And it seamlessly connects. You don't even know that it comes apart. And it works very well. It's very sturdy. You're not going to pull it apart when you're pulling it out of your source. Okay, so the Golden itself. It's a blue shell with a handcrafted, painted faceplate. And it's an okay painting. It is not really something that's my style. I would prefer just a little bit more bland, subtle type of faceplate. But hey, you know what? It's kind of cool looking, so it is what it is. You can get it also in white. As far as the design of it, it's got a decent length of a nozzle. It does have a bit of a wing. And it's not the longest nozzle. It's not the shortest. And I found that the fit was just adequate. They're not uncomfortable, except for that 2-pin kind of, that connection area kind of hitting my ear in the wrong spot. The ear hooks work very aggressively, hold everything in place. And that wingtip is sometimes okay, sometimes not. I kind of have to wiggle it in place, but once I get it in place, they're okay. I can wear them for about an hour, and then my ears are like, okay, let's take a break. So they're not the most comfortable, but they're not the most uncomfortable either. They're just okay. They do a good job with isolation of outside noises, though. I would say probably somewhere in about the 66 to 75% range. They're blocking outside noises, and they do a pretty good job. If you want better isolation than that, the foams do work a little bit better. I did find, though, that the foam tips did kind of alter the sonics slightly. So it made it a little bit warmer and thickened up the bass and gave more impact. But at the same time, it really did dampen down the treble, and it kind of hurt the detail presentation. So as much as I really liked the foam tips for the comfort and the isolation, I really didn't care for them for the sonic presentation. So it kind of depends on the use that you're going to be using, whether or not you use the foam tip. Speaking of, how do they sound? They played very well on all sources. Had no problems whatsoever powering them off of dongles like the Periodic Audio Rhodium, or the X-Duo Link V2, or the NextDrive Spectra X. They played well off of DAPs, Sony WM1A, FIO M11 Plus, Sony A105, and the Heidi's AP80 Pro. They worked very well. Also, I had no problems using them on desktops off of the Mytek Liberty DAC or the Aueze Deckard with the Headamp GSX Mini or the Drop THX1 Linear. They were very content on everything. I did find that they responded a little bit better to a little bit more power, and I used them with the 4.4 balanced out of the depths, and that was a little bit more pleasurable of an experience. How do they sound? The Goldens. These have a presentation that is soft and pleasurable, but yet not overly expressive. The bass is somewhat light, and it has a kind of a lack of punch to it. It doesn't have a whole lot of slam and impact. It gives you enough to, at times, tap the toes, but at others you're just kind of like, ho hum. The tone of it is good. The timbre of it it's all right. And the detail retrieval is okay, and the resolution is all right. It's just not that really that get you and powerful and moving and just keeping you engaged in a music type of bass. It's just kind of, I'm here to do my job. and I'm not really energetic about doing it. We'll get back to the mids. The treble. The treble has a presence to it that has a little bit of sparkle and energy, but it's just not really well defined. It has enough there to keep things going, but it's just not the overall, the most engaging type of treble. But it's never going to shred your ears. It's not going to be out of control, too elevated, and just, oof, you know, too much, unless you have the wide bore tips on. But I just found that it was enough to keep everything going and keep it cohesive. But yet, at the same time, I wish that there was more to it. The mids. The mids are very, very recessed. They're extremely far back in the mix, and they're overpowered by the bass and by the treble. They just have a distance to them, and they're not on stage, and they don't have a whole lot of note weight. They just lack a presence, and that throws off the instrumentation. The instruments will sound uncohesive and unbalanced, and you'll have this thinness and leanness to the instrument while also being distant. You'll also have vocalists, as if you have mixed groups or choirs, quartets, trios, any type of mixed group, they will sound thin and just kind of unbalanced as it goes along. They're just not a very well controlled, cohesive, balanced mid. The tonality of it is okay. The timbre of the instruments and vocalists is okay. And the detail retrieval is all right, and the resolution is okay. It's just everything is too far back, and the treble and the bass just kind of dominate the presence. And I just wish that there was more of a forwardness to the mids. The upper mids are more forward. They do have moments of sibilance and some brightness to it, but they're not excessively aggressive or too much presence. They just only at times will show that. Overall, I find that the frequency response is kind of uneven, especially in the mids being too recessed, somewhat thin. And I find that the tone and timbre is okay. I just wish I had more note weight and body to the overall notes, and I wish that I had a little bit more authority, a little bit more punch in the bottom end, and just a little bit more sparkle energy. Soundstage. Soundstage is okay on the Golden. It's not the greatest soundstage out there, but it does a good job of portraying a accurate size. So if it's a small venue or a large venue or a medium-sized venue, it does a good job of portraying it, and it doesn't blow everything out to be excessively wide, and it doesn't cramp it in to your ears. And it does a decent job of saying this is a small venue or a large venue. Depth and layering is adequate. It's not the deepest soundstage. It will get a little bit muddled and confused on busier tracks. Imaging is okay, and it's not the most precise and accurate. It's right there or right there, but it's over in this neighborhood. It's over in this neighborhood, and things do travel across the stage, and you can follow them through. It's just not the most pinpoint and accurate. Overall, I do enjoy the Golden. I find that it has a few flaws to it, but it has a nice kind of just laid back, chill type of sound with just enough sparkle and energy. Lacks a little bit in some of the technicalities, and it's not the most detailed. It's not the best resolved sounding earphone out there, but it's okay. But when you compare it to some other earphones in its price point, like the C-Audio Yume, the Yume has way better note weight, tone, and timbre, and it just does a better job in detail retrieval and resolution. And I find that the Yume is just the overall more pleasurable listen, with having a little bit better clarity, a little bit more preciseness in placement, better details, resolution, better depth and layering. And overall, I just prefer to listen to the Yume. And then comparing it to the Moondrop Kato, the Kato is by far better than the Golden. I find that the Kato also is better detailed, better resolving, has better tone and timbre, more air, better separation, better isolation of instruments, does a better job with imaging, being more precise and accurate, way better depth and layering, and also it has more note weight and density and just more girth to the presentation and better authority overall. So I like the Golden, and I think it's an okay earphone, but it's not an earphone for me, as I prefer the Kato and the Yume over it. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next video, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Also, check out the links down below. There's all kinds of information there regarding how you can contact the channel, follow the channel, support the channel. All kinds of other good things are down below. Gear links and music recommendations and all kinds of other things are down below. Also, we're getting near to 10K subs, and we're going to have a 10K sub live stream coming up. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, recommend it to friends if you want, and be looking for that 10K sub live stream. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Don't forget to enjoy the music, and honesty is the best policy.